Kiitoksia. Tämä on oikeastaan myös osaltaan tarina siitä, mitä tapahtui, kun venäläinen lakimies haastoi TBWA Helsingin ja osaltaan myös sitten sitä, että mä puhun nyt älykkäästä yksinkertaisuudesta, minkä kunniaksi mulla on kaikista pisin ja monimutkaisin otsikko täällä. All the material is in Finnish, but I could speak in English. English, yeah? Yeah. Coolio. Okay, so I'm talking about smart simplicity, and that's why my header for this whole thing is the longest of them all today. And yeah, I am Juha Naukkanen, so I'm creative technologist at TBWA Helsinki, and I'm one of the things that has been changing TBWA and PHS from what it used to be as an advertising agency into a disruption company that we are becoming now. And in this presentation, I'm talking about the stuff that these guys have done. I want to first go through the people, because like Solita said, you have to have the right people working here. And as you can see, those titles are not something that probably people that used to work at PHS would have ever had. So we have product designers, digital art directors, front-end designers, and whatnot. And of course, added to this, because on this case, we created everything that you see here, and all the brand, and all the branding, all the visuals, and all that stuff. So of course, we had the traditional designers also working on this case. So where we started was the moment when a Russian lawyer called TBWA Helsinki and sued us. This actually doesn't work in English. I thought this in Finnish. So venäläinen asianajaja soitti TBWA Helsingille ja haastoi meidät, which makes perfect sense with the next stuff in Finnish, but in English it doesn't work, so this might sound a bit awkward in that case. But yeah. He called us, and the suing or haasteet were not actually anything to do with law. They had to do with time. So we had to start think about time and what could we get more out of it. And it's an abstract thing and a big thing, so how can we also keep it simple? So the first question was that you have to create a timepiece or a watch. That was a given, which is always nice to have some sort of restrictions, because if you're just working with time, there is quite a lot you can do. The first question was, how can we get more out of time? Because that's the only resource that's basically, now it's running and I'm using your time, you could be somewhere else, you could be doing something else, and you will never get this moment back. So how can we get more out of this moment that we are living right now? And the second question was how to remember the very special moments in your life, the stuff that jumps out from the ordinary. Because if you look at, for example, Facebook, what happened in Facebook in, let's say, 1 week ago or 2 weeks ago, it becomes a big gray mass of stuff. There is nothing that pops out. It might have been big at that moment, but then when you want to go back, you can't use Google, and you can't really use Facebook search because it doesn't work. So we wanted to make something that would actually bring out the extra special moments and give them the special place in your life that they should have. And also a way to get back to those moments so that they won't blend into the stuff that used to happen. And of course, because Russians are nice people to work with, and we don't want to take things too easy, we also had the sort of question on how to stop time. So what could we do? Of course, we are not going to go into light speed and actually physically stop the time, but we could work on ways that it would feel like the moment or the time has stopped at that point. So those were the 3 questions that we got from our client in St. Petersburg. And when it comes to design, and what we started to work on then was that, as well, probably even the three questions are so abstract that most people start to wonder in their mind, like, okay, that was an interesting question, but I wonder what's on TV. So we wanted to keep everything simple. We wanted to work so that nothing in the product would make this whole thing simpler. We were bringing simplicity here and not vice versa. And one of our key ideas when we were designing this product and also the whole experience around it was that, you know, paleo as a diet doesn't, well, it might work for some people, didn't work for me, as you can see. It's a lousy diet, but if you think about it from the design point of view, it's actually something that could work. Because basically, if you look at tools that have been made from the Paleolithic times to now, for thousands of years, all the tools have been monofunctional, and the first things that were actually multifunctional were some Swiss Army knives that, okay, are still being used, but not day to day. And most of the things that we use are monofunctional. For example, this tool is to change the slides, and it still includes more computing power than probably the thing that went to moon. So added to that, we wanted to make so that we are sure that we are bringing peace into chaos, or we are bringing simplicity into a place where there is complexity. And these two ideas were the sort of base where we started to work on. And so we wanted to find a place where you could have your product that fits into the sort of, not in the middle, more into katana level, but still goes from the traditional into the sort of more functional world, but still keeps it simple. And bringing this to sort of nowadays ideas, we wanted to find something that would actually be between sort of the classical, amazingly designed products that we like to wear, and then also have some flirtation, we could say, with the sort of wrist computers that are being now sold everywhere, and the big players are working on there. So we wanted to make something for the people who actually appreciates design, wants to have a great product, but still wants something more out of it, and also wants something more out of time. Now comes the critical point from my presentation. Next we will see a video. It might or might not have audio, and if it doesn't, well, let's actually post it to tweet that some people could send like subtitles, but let's hope that we don't have to go there. So let's go into the...
What if you could save the special moments that matter and make them last forever? WatchWatch is all about those moments, stopping the time to preserve a memory. To capture a moment, just press the signature red button that creates a unique memory mark on your watch face. The memory mark is automatically sent to the accompanying app, along with the time and place. You can edit the memory later, adding pictures and notes. Then you can share the moment with your friends and loved ones. WatchWatch doesn't just connect you to your phone, it connects you to the moments that matter. By combining Swiss watchmaking with Finnish engineering and design, we created an innovative timepiece, an authentic analog look and feel spiced up with unusual material combinations. A totally new hybrid watch, bridging the gap between tradition and technology. WatchWatch is sold at whatwatch.com and worn all around the world by people who have fallen in love with both its beauty and innovation. With WatchWatch, you're not just wearing a timepiece, you're cherishing your memories. Stop the time, remember the moments.
So we created a watch where you can basically stop the time and save that moment with only a single click on your watch. So you don't have to really, take your phone out or ask somebody to post something somewhere, but you can actually save it right at that moment. Like I could save the moment right now. Let's see, still works, good. And that's the product that we did. We created the classical watch with a digital complication, and now some of you might think that, okay, there's a complication in the watch, it doesn't sound really that good. But if you don't happen to work with watch, you don't know maybe that everything that's on the sort of dial of the watch that is not telling the time, but is telling, for example, the date, or you have a second, like timer on your watch, they're always called complications. So we added the complication to create your sort of own special map of moments that's always unique to everybody. And by adding this complication to the watch, we connected the whole device also to your social media channels, because what's digital without social media nowadays? And by so we actually combined the old, like centuries-old technology of watchmaking into the current, your mobile device that's actually a supercomputer in your pocket. As said in the earlier time, we wanted to work to make everything simple. And the simple outcome of that is a simple button in a watch that's connected to your mobile device. But behind that, simplicity doesn't come easy. Getting to simple place is always complicated, and well, it even makes it a bit more complicated when your customer is a Russian lawyer. But even to that, we really had to work. First, we did the design, which was like 5%. Then we did some production, which was like 7% added to that. Then we tested it for 15% of the time, and then we redid it for 80% of the time. So getting to simplicity means that you have to work on it, and you have to actually use a lot of time to get there. Making something that is complex, that's super easy. You just duct tape stuff together, and there you go. But then when you have to make the experience simple and something that's easy and intuitive to use, then you actually have to use time. And this was basically the first watch concept that we worked on with our client. And it's really emotional concept. It's really something that's about you and your moments and your personal life, and something that is well, really emotional. The next one that we started to work on is actually something that would probably work for every one of you, because it's basically a watch for the busy business type of people. So what we did was we created, this is now actually, the first one is being sold. You can order it in whatwatch.com, and this one is actually now in production phase. So this, okay, the contrast might be a bit of an issue here, but basically there are simple slides of the dial that are darker than the other ones, and that is something that tells you actually when is your next meeting coming. So those are all meeting times, and while the watch is moving, you basically, it's all the time clearing the last 12 hours and showing the next 12 hours. So for example, I would probably, might be in the right places at right time when he sees like 15 minutes before in the watch, and not have to, you know, get the phone or something and check the stuff from there. And as said, our focus also with this calendar watch has been to find a place in the between of complex and the classical design. And it seems that we have found a sweet spot, and it has been also noted by from people who have only seen the case videos or have only read about it on the website or on Kickstarter. So, for example, the Esquire wrote about the the calendar watch, that it's a perfect watch for the people who hate smartwatches. So we sort of hit the sweet spot in between having a smartwatch and then, hating them. Here is a modern technology called GIF. I don't know if you have ever seen such a thing, but this basically shows the way that it works. So all the time, when the time rolls, it always is cleaning up the last 12 hours and is showing you the next 12 hours. So this is now in production phase, and you can probably buy it soon at whatwatch.com. So by having connected digital things into really a classical product of a wristwatch, we were able to spread out the features that you have on your wrist without going into the sort of wrist computer game, because there are few big players on that field already. And we also were enabled, or we got to a place where we can actually make it more simple to do the stuff that you have been doing before. So we, at the same time, we got more functions, but then we made it more simple to, for example, save the moment or check your calendar or do things like this. And of course, like always, like Nokia used to do, they connected people, and we connected a watch to your mobile device without turning it into a beast that nobody knows how to use. So this was done actually in the next block. Thank you.